Alright, Meninda, so how are you today? Well, I hope you're doing fine. Now, I will tell you about PTESOL. Well, have you known about PTESOL before? If not, let me tell you. So, PTESOL is Proficiency Test of English to speakers of other languages. Okay, so what is it? Well, PTESOL is a computer-based, remember? Computer-based test instrument used to evaluate the English proficiency of non-native speakers in academic context. 3 language skills and knowledge areas are tested in this test. Firstly, listening skills. So, what is listening skills? Well, this part measures the test taker's ability to understand English speech used in academic setting. Number 2, structure and written expression. This part measures the test taker's ability to understand and determine accurate use of grammar and structure in standard written English. So, how about the last one? The last one is the reading skill. This part measures the test taker's ability to read and understand English text and vocabulary, especially in the text provided. Okay, now let's move on to the first skill, shall we? The first skill is listening skill. Now I will tell you what and how to ace listening section for PTESOL. First, let me tell you about the introduction, a little bit of listening comprehension section. So, the purpose of the listening comprehension section is to measure how the test taker understanding of spoken English, especially in academic settings, such as, first, class conversations, second, discussions, and then campus life in general. Vocabulary, spoken structures, English sounds and intonations are tested in this section. The duration, well, remember it. Remember that the duration for the listening section is 35 minutes. So for the first listening section is 35 minutes. You have 35 minutes to finish this listening section. So, and all questions here are spoken only once. So make sure you can listen carefully in this section. And the second one, I will tell you, there are a lot of questions here. How many? Do you guys know? Can you guess? Well, I will tell you. So the listening comprehension section consists of 50 questions, divided into 3 parts. The first part is the part A, or the mini dialogues. Mini dialogues consist of 30 questions. So, the test taker here in part A chooses the correct answer to a spoken question based on a very short spoken, remember? Very short spoken dialogue. So it is very short. The second part, the part B, is the longer conversation. It consists around 7 to 8 questions. Yeah? The test taker here in part B chooses the correct answer. You need to choose the correct answers to a series of questions about a longer spoken dialogue between 2 people. Yeah, 2 people. This is longer than the mini dialogue. And the part C, the last one, is the talks. Yeah? This talk consists of 12 until 13 questions. These here in part C, you choose the correct answers to a series of questions about a talk given by one speaker. Like me, you are listening to me. You are listening to a speaker, which is me, the speaker. Yeah? And here, I am your teacher. And later, when you take the PTESOL test, you will listen to this kind of lecture. Yeah, so there will be like a teacher. It can be a teacher like me. It can be a lecturer. It can be a tour guide, and any person who talks about his or her experience. Wow, so that's the introduction for listening comprehension section. So let's move on to the next session. I will tell tell you about the general strategies, especially for you, newbies. Maybe this is your first time. What is PTESOL? So I will tell you the strategies in doing listening comprehension section. I have three strategies. The first strategy is that pay attention to the instructions before responding to questions in each dialogue. Yeah, remember to focus on the instruction. Yeah, and the second one, listen carefully for meaning in dialogues and talks, and focus on understanding the overall message. Okay, the overall message. So you can just nitpick only one dialogue, but the overall meaning, you need to understand carefully the whole conversation. What is it? What is it about? And the third one, this is very important. Allocate your time wisely. Test taker you only have 12 seconds. 12 seconds to answer each question in listening comprehension session. Wow, that sounds pretty short, isn't it? But I know you can do it. Next, I will tell you about the question types in Part A, mini dialogue. The first part of listening comprehension section is to understand mini dialogues between two people. Remember, two people. So there will be two people speaking in mini dialogue. Each short dialogue in this section is 2 lines long. Only 2 lines long and involves 2 speakers. 2 lines and 2 speakers. A third person asks a question about what was said. After hearing the question, you have 12 seconds to read the 4 answer choices and decide which one is the best answer to the question heard. In this part, there are 2 basic question types. The first one is fact questions. Fact questions ask about specific information mentioned in the dialogue. So, you need to hear a specific keyword for fact question, the detail of the keywords. Alright? Example, the question will be heard, what does the woman mean? Example number 2, what does the man want to know? That's the example of fact questions. Number 2, we have inference questions. Inference question asks about information that has not been mentioned specifically in this dialogue. In other words, the information has only been implied or suggested by the speakers, or implied information. Example, where does this conversation probably take place? The second one, what will the woman probably do next? That's the example. Okay, so the model question will be heard like this. Man, this view is really something else. I'll say, question, what does the woman mean? And then after you heard the question, you choose from the 4 answers.